close. And I was like, right, everyone's got out. They're going to be letting me out. Nothing. And so, I mean, I wish there'd been like a microphone or a camera in the boot that was recording me. Like, guys? No, actually. Guys? Guys? Please? Guys? Are you there? Like, no response. And then I just hear one door open and close. Car starts, speeds off. And I'm like, right, everyone's got out. Someone's got back in. And I don't know where we're going now. And then another 5 minutes later, the car stopped. Did
you hear what was said outside, though? Did you actually catch that? Because what we did is we were all driving in the car, and we got it, but Linus Roach rang us on the way to find out where we were going for drinks. And then when we got out of the car, it was Linus outside who was pretending to be part of the IRA. I thought there were two steps to this.
Where's the body? That's alive. You said a dead body, and he's out in the back just doing this kind of like terrorist accent. And then we all got in the car and went really silent. So it was as if it was just this guy driving. But anyway, that was what it meant to us.
No, I thought it was two parts. I was about to get to that bit, the scary bit where the car stops and like. But I think you're right. Everyone got out, and then I heard the whole conversation. It happened I genuinely thought someone was about to open the boot and put me in a body bag and bury me. I can't remember who was. I don't think it was you, Clive. Someone whose voice I knew was talking to. I think maybe Andrew, the production assistant, was talking to this Irish man who I knew hadn't got into the car at the studio, and they were just like being like, yeah, do what we discussed, just get rid of it, like quick, like super seriously. And I was literally like banging on the boot, like, this is not funny, let me out right now. And then got back in the car and just.
That's what I remember. That's when Linus was like, he's alive.
Yeah,
you said a dead body.
Honestly, I mean, when I've told people this story previously. Believe me, it's not been often, but when I've told this story to people previously, like mates or. Everyone's just been like, what's wrong with you? Why did you get in the boot? So, yeah, that was the start of...
You don't know Travis Fimmel.
Well, I remember Travis got so mad because when you guys were at Druid's Glen, he wanted to keep going. And all of us were like, that's enough, get George out. And he got so mad that he stalked home to his apartment.
Yeah.
He was all mad at us for letting you out.
He said, leave him in there for 10 more minutes. And we were like, no, you got to pop the trunk now. You got to let George out. It's been funny, but it's not funny anymore. And he was like, 10 more minutes. And we were like, no. And he just stormed off.
I think probably I was left in the boot. Yeah, because then this Irishman in my head had driven me somewhere, stopped the car and got out. So it was just silent. And I think I'd probably been there for about 14 hours. In reality, it was probably about 3 minutes. But, like you're in the boot of a car and you're like, I've not eaten in 17 hours and I'm starving. I can feel myself like... But yeah, I think then we went into the hotel and someone ordered shots. And we all ordered shots. And everyone's was water apart from mine. So that was good fun.
Yeah.
Another round.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
And but I think a lot of it, though, with Travis, it was part of your bonding, wasn't it? Bonding was Ragnar and, well, in his way, it was part of Ragnar and Athelstan's bonding as the slave and the master. And so you did get the brunt of his gags and his practical jokes, I think.
Yeah, it was my final day, so that didn't need to happen, but sure. No, you're right. You're right.
But I mean, there was a time, didn't he like, he glued your phone to the kind of the roof of the studio, which you needed like a cherry picker crane to get it. And right at the end of the day, when everyone had gone home and the guy that works the crane had gone home, you were like, "Where's my phone?"
He'd do that a lot. He would do that a lot to people's phones. Like someone would just be out having a cigarette break on their phone and he'd just walk past them, grab their phone and throw it over the roof of the studio. And it's just so extreme. Like I was on the phone to like my mum. What? Now my phone's smashed on the other side of the studio. What's going on? But he is quite an extreme guy. So God, I love him. But, yeah, and then in season 1, the initial part of my character being in Kattegat, I had a rope around my neck for quite a few sequences in Ep 2 or 3 because I was a slave. I came off the boat with a rope around my neck and I was tied up in Kattegat, and then he dragged me home to his farm with a rope around my neck. So I had a rope around my neck for about a week filming. And Travis would just tie me to Travis would just tie me to things between takes. Like we'd be in between shots and I'd get up to stand up to move and I'd be like, Travis is Travis has tied me to the dried herring again. Brilliant.
Oh shit! Do you guys remember that drawing that somebody did? That very homoerotic drawing of Ragnar and Athelstan. It hung in Dee's. Are you shaking your head 'cause you don't want to remember? I remember. I certainly do remember. It was in Dee, our hairdresser's room, and it was right there on the wall, and we all looked at it every day.
I remember going through the fan fiction and suddenly just getting, when you're not meant to troll the internet, and I remember getting obsessed when I suddenly went, oh my God, people are writing like romantic, erotic stories about these characters like Rollo and Quentrith, or like Lagertha and Athelstan, and I suddenly it was this. I just went down this horrible rabbit hole of like, this is a story between Ragnar and Athelstan, and then these pictures just jumped.
Very graphic
pictures. I remember those pictures because I drew them. So No, but I remember those pictures. How can you not? They're burned into my memory. But no, I was very lucky to play that character. At that time, kind of the birth of television as well, this golden age of television, and play that character opposite that incredible cast. And that is and I don't want to sound like disingenuous or I'm blowing smoke up people's bums, but genuinely, like, Vikings is one of those shows where you're not tuning in to watch one character's journey. Genuinely, that first season presents itself as like the best kind of ensemble show. Some ensemble shows that shall remain nameless, you kind of have too many characters to follow. But it just got that balance really well of like, we're going to follow 3 or 4 different storylines of different people that we love, and I just loved it.
To follow on from, because we talked about your last day in the prank, as a one last question, it'd be nice if you talked us through your last day on set and the scene that you had to film and what it was like saying goodbye to everyone.
I have to be totally honest, I can't actually remember, and I promise you I have definitely tried to remember what the scene was. All I know is it was basically, I think it was something pretty pedestrian. I mean, I think the last thing that I shot, I was stood in the background of a much bigger scene happening in the Great Hall. One of those scenes that happens in the Great Hall and there's 17 of us and they have to get like footage of all 17 of us. So we're there for about 3 days and just sort of nodding at other people talking. I think it was that. And I think I was in the Great Hall. But the lovely thing about that was that it was in the Great Hall and there were lots of people. And I don't think I'd even clocked. Like, that thing where you know it's your last day because it is on the schedule, but you don't quite know when they're going to be done with you specifically and the coverage. And it was just really lovely because everyone was there. And and then they did that thing that they do with anyone who raps on the show and kind of presented me with a shield, the shield that Athelstan had, and the entire cast had signed it. I still have it. I wish I had it with me now, but you've got yours there, and like some of the messages are just incredible that people wrote on it, and it was a very, very special time. I burst into tears. I mean, and I've never done that in any other job, I don't think, when I've closed off a character, because I think I knew at that point as well that I had been part of something quite special and had got to do it with such an amazing character. It was very special.
So good. So good.
1,000%
a part 2. You are so much fun. I'm crying, and we have so many more questions to ask you.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I do waffle on.
George, thank you so much for coming and talking to us. We need to get you in again. This is only just the beginning. I feel like we're just rubbing the surface of your experience in this phenomenal show. You were in it from the beginning, part of the original cast, and we have to have you back on if you would take some time and come back on.
Absolutely.
It'd be great.
Of course, no problem. And I promise not to waffle as much the next time. And we might actually get to some more interesting questions than being locked in the back of a car.
No, the waffling is what the fans need and deserve. Good. So please, more of that. We love you dearly.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. It's been so much fun. And thank you for asking me. It's lovely to see you both.
Thank you.
This is Vikcast. It's a Viking thing. With Clive Standen and Amy Bailey.
Whoa. That was an amazing chat with Athelstan himself.
I haven't laughed that hard in a long time, and I think it's because I almost forget how much fun we had on the show, because you watch the show back and it's so full of drama and angst and violence, and then you realize, oh no, we spent a lot of time goofing around on set.
And I've missed George so much. It's been so long since I've kind of connected with him. He's such a special human.
Yeah.
He's just one in a million.
And do you know what was funny about that was what we were really hoping when you and I kind of started batting around ideas for this podcast is we were hoping to deliver tidbits and juicy pieces of gossip and behind the scenes that fans had never heard before. And during that recording with George, I heard a lot of stuff I've never heard before, which was fun because I kind of felt like I was thrown back into the moment. And then I was realizing, gosh, you know what? I'm a fan of my own show, which is a cool thing. That doesn't always happen with an actor. Sometimes you never want people to see what you've done.
So I hope you guys all enjoyed this first Vikcast. We're building this from the ground up. It was a lot of fun, but we have a special treat in store for you in the second episode because we get to speak to
Linus Roach, aka King Egbert, the amazing, amazing, beautiful man and human that is Linus Roach. He's such a brilliant actor, and I think it's going to be fun for fans to see the man behind the character because Egbert was a divisive character. It was very love-hate character, but when they see what a kind, gentle, smart person that Linus is, I think they're going to have a lot more respect for him to go like, how could you play such a mean monster?
And you get a nice little tidbit of history, how he created the character, hijinks and the stories that he has behind the scenes of Vikings. There's a bit of everything in the next podcast. I can't wait for you to hear it.
So this has been Amy Bailey, aka Queen Quenthrith on Vikings.
And Clive Standen, aka Rollo on Vikings.
And you have been listening to Vikcast. Please, please, please come visit us on our Instagram account at Vikcast Official. Come, as Clive says, slip into our DMs.
Slip an axe into my DMs. No, we'd love to hear from you. Get in touch with us. You know, anything you'd want to hear on the show, any feedback you have for us, any celebrities you know that might be Viking fans that we don't know about that we might be able to get on the show. We want to hear it all. And maybe even if you've got any Viking themed weddings or birthdays or anything that you've done that might relate to the show, get in touch with us because you might actually feature on Vikcast yourself.
That's right. Clive and we're really trying to build this show from the ground up, and we want it to be completely fan interactive because we love you guys and we deeply appreciate your support over the years. You made the show what it was. You kept us employed. Thanks very much. So come visit us on our handle, like Clive said, Vikcast Official. And also please come visit our new shiny website that our team has been working very, very hard to build. And that is www.vikcast.com. There are lots of goodies on there. We're developing our socials, so you're going to be able to find us all over the place. And we're going to try to provide more and more ways for you to get in touch so that you can tell us what you want to see and hear on this show.
I hope you enjoyed our first episode of Vikcast, but what's important for us is you guys. A war band lives and dies together, Rollo's very own words. And I need you guys to share, tell your friends, tell everyone what's going on in Vikcast, because the more of you that join the war band, the more fun we're going to have on Vikcast.
Love you guys. Join us next time at Vikcast Podcast.
Follow the Vikings on Vikcast Official.